Live from Planet Fun in Shallotte, North Carolina, the PBA50 Storm Invitational Stepladder Finals begin shortly. Players finishing their practice right now, and then we will begin with an incredible top five. Welcome inside Planet Fun. I am Jeff Goodger along with PBA50 player Warren G. Burr. And Warren, this top five, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's a great top five. We've got some Hall of Famers. We've got USBC Hall of Famer, a couple of future Hall of Famers, I hope. And it should be good. The arrangement, the stepladder, the first match, I think you'll see both Michael and Lennie set the lanes up a little bit, the way they're going to play them. They'll tend to open them up a little bit as the matches go on. You'll probably see some higher scores.
Michael Haugen and Lennie Boresch, as you mentioned. Winner gets Ryan Shafer. We're going to go to the lanes right now. They're about to get started. There are Lennie and Michael. And past Shafer, get to the two Hall of Famers, Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Norm Duke, waiting in the title match.
Yeah, as most of our viewers probably know, Michael Haugen is our reigning PBA50 Player of the Year. And Lennie Boresch has about 180,000 regional titles, and I think four senior national titles. He's a USBC Hall of Famer, and a nice guy as well.
Lennie Boresch will start. He won the first major of the season, PBA50 National Championship in the Villages in April. And talk about Lennie Boresch, Warren. Just tell us how good he is.
He's the guy that nobody knows about, who's just great. Nothing really phases him. He just throws the ball and usually flushes it and strikes. He's very smooth. He's light on his feet for a big guy, and his release is very textbook. Very textbook. He's a guy you don't want to have to bowl action against, because he's certainly going to put the ball right there when he needs it. You don't get to the USBC Hall of Fame and win some Eagles without being that.
And a big opening pickup by Lennie Boresch. Spare in the first to get things started here in Shallotte.
Yeah, beautiful conversion, like we try to teach everybody. Go straight at your spares.
Now, PBA50 Player of the Year, Michael Haugen Jr., only player to win more than once this season. And an opening two-pin for Haugen.
I'd expect to see a little bit of the squirrel be out there for the first maybe 5 or 6 frames. But once it does settle down, I think you're going to start seeing some room both ways. Everybody rolls it. Michael rolls it right up the back. Really don't have any tilt. Lennie's on the side of the ball but doesn't come around it. They'll both be in the same general area.
Elite field event, the top 12 PBA50 players based on points from the 2018 PBA50 season, plus 2 special invitations, and 7 games of match play yesterday, 7 more today, and these are the 5 remaining players. And Haugen will not get the 10-pin.
You know, Michael's using a halo, which is a ball from Roto Grip. It's asymmetric, strong cover and core. He alternated between you throwing that halo and another ball from Storm, which was an intense fighter. Certain pairs he needed a little more back-end motion, and some pairs he could let it roll up like that halo. Lennie, if I'm correct, was using a halo during the week and during the weekend, and he also used an IQ Tour. So you see that everyone's looking for roll at that point.
Boresch looking for the first strike of the game for either player. 9-pin says no.
Emphatically says no.
Emphatically says no.
And in fact, Lennie's changed his strategy a little bit. Lennie Boresch is throwing what I believe is an intense, which is a pro ball that has a more defined back end motion to it. And of course, it cut right through the back end and left a solid 9 for him that time. So this is the transition you go through, trying to settle down a pair. There's a beautiful shot of Lennie from that angle. You could see no head movement at all. He's on the target, his shoulders are pretty solid, and his head doesn't move. No yank at the top of the swing, no shoulder snap. Head stays firm, and you can't really misdirect a shot when you throw the ball that well.
Well, that looked pretty good, Warren.
Well, if you consider flush, good. Let's see. Michael Haugen, our 5th seed, averaged an even 233 for the 14 games of match play. And Lennie Boresch actually averaged slightly less, 229 and some change. But in the match play format with the 30 bonus pins, it sometimes doesn't bear out that the highest score is there. You know, we see here Michael's shot comes through. He rolled true. He threw it well. Just didn't quite kick the 10 out. And that shot might go 6 frames from now.
No question on the spare for Haugen. Still a close match through 4 frames. And just 1 strike apiece.
I think that's going to change. All right, I hope it changes. You know, I think it's interesting that Lennie is using an asymmetric pearl as opposed to what he used all week, which was to engender roll on the shot.
Take another look at Boresch taking them all down.
Something about watching the 6 take out the 10 that just says, beautiful. Well, we've had a nice crowd here watching the match play, especially today.
And he avoids the split. See if we can figure out what happened here.
Well, I don't think he missed right or threw it too hard. I think he just missed it a touch at the bottom of the swing. And the pattern is still fairly fresh, so you still have a little bit of you haven't really opened up that track or that break point that you're looking for. But as you mentioned, very luckily he got the 10 out, no 2-8-10. And a perfect cover. So I'm not sure that he'll move off that shot. I think he'll, in retrospect, he'll sit down and say, I missed it a little bit. Sometimes our viewers might move off of a shot that they threw badly and go bad the other way.
Haugen flush on this lane last time. And a 10-pin this time.
Yeah, he threw that ball pretty well off his hand. That ball just pushed a hair further. The same general reason that Lennie left the 2-8. There's transition going on, and with two people, sometimes it takes a little longer.
No doubt on the spare for Haugen. Both players clean through 5 halfway through our opening match. The PBA50 Storm Invitational. Winner gets Ryan Shafer.
Did they get to take him home, or do they have to bowl against him?
That's for later discussion. They definitely have to bowl against him.
Okay. And the old fruit salad for Michael Haugen. Looked like he might have tried to come around that ball just a teeny bit more to get it to change direction harder. His pins bounced a little hard, bounced around a little more pin action. But until we could put a mic in his face and ask him, we don't know.
Wow. What was that, Warren Jeeber?
We can't really use those words on a PG-rated show. It looks like Lennie may have made a small adjustment off of the last shot, then getting a little tighter down lane. You could tell he went a little squarer at the pocket, and the pins do not respect the powerful balls that we throw today.
Let's get another angle on that shot. See if we can get a better look at what happened.
Well, as you can see, the ball goes to the right of the 8-pin, and instead of the 5-pin hitting the 8, which it's supposed to, the 5-pin gets driven straight back since there's no deflection from the ball. And there's no defense right there. You can make the pins harder, heavier, or you could bribe the pin boy, one of the two.
The pin boy's out here watching, just like everybody else. Boresch, 7th frame.
Beautiful shot, textbook classic game for us. And you like to see that, where the ball rolls through the pocket, hits the 5. He made a good shot. He was happy with it. You can see his balance was good. Now, Haugen made a ball change. Haugen went from halo to an intense fire that he's got some surface on, maybe 1,000 or so. But because it's a pearl, he's going to get a little more back-end movement. And even though it's a little less ball, perhaps, on the one lane, and now he's throwing the halo on this lane again.
Some loud squeaking on the approach. Haugen making sure he has enough traction on his plant foot.
I think our fans expected this to go. They liked it off his hand.
I think Haugen expected it too. Let's get a look at Haugen's reaction at the line. Picks up the spare. Now Lennie Boresch coming up in the 8th and 9th.
I think Haugen had that look of, please don't stick that toothpick under my fingernail when he left that pin up, because it looked a little painful for him. But definitely both making quality shots here. And right now Haugen is up by a pin. So we are really in a tight match right now.
Is that a fortunate break for Lennie there? Could that have been worse, Warren?
Could have been 4-6, could have been 4-6, 7-10. We call it Nixon. Could have been a lot of things. He's going more direct on that lane, and when you're going a little more direct, you miss a little in, you're pretty much headed right at the nose. But he broke it up. He's just got the, there's no wood loss because he's on a strike.
That was iffy right there.
And we're still in a one-pin match right now. See the wheels turning in Lennie's head right now. He's thinking, I don't know what he's thinking, but he's thinking, No, he's trying to decide, did I miss left? Did I grab at it? Did it pick up early? There you go.
What is that reaction?
He was a little right with it. If you watch a shot right here, you'll see that it wasn't quite as far over the line as he usually gets it, but it picked up, which may tell us that that transition is starting to move up the lane to make that that burn spot a little early. And now you can roll the ball and it'll arc through the pocket and continue.
And big strike for Michael Haugen. 227 possible for Haugen. And he can win it right here in the 10th, Warren.
Yes,
when he's sitting on the bench.
This is what you live for. You pretend you're doing this in junior leagues. You're up there ready to do it, and no matter how many times you win, this is what it's all about. Coming through in the clutch.
Seven hit.
This ball looks pretty good, and it makes a move. It's possible that it burned up a little bit, but usually when it burns up, when it rolls out like that, you'll see the 7 and 10 both up. Good shot that just lost its energy. I think he just got a bad break there.
And he's dejected right now because he knows what a clutch bowler Lennie Boresch is, and now it'll be up to Boresch to decide who wins this game in the 10th frame.
Well, this fill ball is very important, Jeff. If he strikes on this fill ball, he makes Lennie throw the first hit. And it's the exact same shot. Exact same shot. He rolled it over 11, little back end. This one mixed.
Opening match, PBA50 Storm Invitational, and it comes down to the 10th frame.
And Lennie's been in this situation many times, whether it's bowling in league, or tournaments, or action, or trying to beat his son in doubles. And there it is.
Strike.
You would expect nothing less than that. Sorry, I stepped on you there.
That's why Haugen looked dejected when he realized that it'd be up to Boresch, because that's what happens.
Well, that was an excellent shot under pressure for Lennie. He pured it. He had his usual balance.
It's not over yet, but he definitely needed that one.
So while dejected, Michael Haugen still has to be happy with his performance here. He acquitted himself well as the player of the year. Threw some really good shots and just didn't catch a carry break when he needed it. But Michael's well liked by everybody out on 50 Tour. He's the kid.
Best player all season long.
Well, the only problem is he's too thin.
Fifth place finish for Michael Haugen. Lennie Boresch moves on. He will get Ryan Shafer in the next match, and we will be back with that match following practice live on Extra Frame on FloBowl. Ryan Shafer being introduced, the number 3 seed, taking on Lennie Boresch Jr. Jeff Goodger with Warren G. Burr in the booth. And Warren, watching Ryan yesterday and today, had a great first game each time. Lanes are not as fresh as they were for this morning and the day before, but great starts from Ryan Shafer. Do you see the same thing coming out here as the 3rd seed taking on Lennie Boresch?
Well, I think you can look for every time the pattern gets oiled on the lanes, it gets a little cleaner up front, a little tighter down lane, and I think this pair was oiled early this morning and is set all day, I believe.
Yes.
So they flatten out a little bit, and usually that means that the more close you can keep your angles, and the more that you can keep the ball in front of you, the better chance you have of carving out a nice spot for yourself. But Ryan likes to hook the ball and he likes to get on it, but I think you'll see he'll probably, that's the same ball he was using. He had 2 cutting edge hybrids this week. I think you're going to see he's going to probably still stay around 12 maybe. Get it right a little, but not too much. And then that happens.
Opening shot for Shafer coming in on lane 30. See these pins crumble.
The great, was it Billy Whaley? Hit him thin and watch him spin, I think.
Ryan Shafer, 6 top 10 finishes on the PBA50 season in 2018. No titles, though. Best finish of 2nd in Anderson, lost to Norm Duke. Could he climb the ladder and get another shot at Norm Duke?
I'm sure that's what his objective is to get to the title match and make good shots. Now, I notice here he's throwing a different ball in each lane, which is something that Ryan Shafer is prone to do very often. See, for you Brunswick fans, I think on the right lane he's got a cutting-edge hybrid, and on the left lane, I think that's a Creed Rebellion. Just different shapes. And sometimes people do that just to be able to play them the same. Somebody may drift more in one lane than the other. And up steps Lennie Boresch. And that ball came off pretty well from Lennie's hand. I think he was happy with the shot. Just rolled up a little high. And you're immediately seeing a little bit of a difference in his reaction with Ryan being on the lane. Throws his practice shots and gets on there. Ryan's got some surface. And a referee more reminiscent of the kids' tour today than the senior tour.
You'll look at Lennie. Show you how much confidence he had after he let this one go. Not much. But he picks up the spare, clean through 2. Now coming up in the 3rd frame. Winner at the PBA50 National Championship, as we mentioned, and finished 2nd the following week.
It was in Mooresville, North Carolina.
That's right for Boresch. Now Ryan Shafer coming up on the front 2, and look at Lennie Boresch again. Shafer in position round had the front 9 as he solidified himself into the top 5. And now the front 3 right here.
Much like home run hitters, big guys who throw the big ball are streaky. You can get hot. You can be hot for a week. You can be hot for a year. But when you line up in a tournament, you have a lot of ball and a lot of confidence. You can strike at will until you don't.
Right. Yeah. Shafer trying to build on his lead. Boresch 2 strikes through 3 frames. Shafer all strikes, 4th frame. And the front 4, some circles, that's called a ham bone.
Yeah, you'll see the ball go through the pins here. Now, Ryan's getting some wet-dry reaction. He got that a little right, and it really checked up hard. Went through, you saw the last 2 pins down were the 7-9. So he may move on his next shot, even though he struck, or he may just feel like he grabbed at it a little or got a little extra on it and try to make the next one pure.
Having a little issue with the scoring monitors. The arrows weren't switched. That's a slight delay here. They're getting that taken care of. Of course, the second seed in the tournament is the one spearheading the effort. The ever astute, greatest of all time. Sometimes they just sound the way they should sound, Warren.
Yeah, it just sounds like a strike.
That's just beautiful.
It's the ball you square up, and it sounds different when you hit it over the fence.
Look at the arsenal of the 2 players.
Yeah, Lennie is a representative of Storm. He is on Storm's national PBA staff. Ryan is a member of Brunswick's national staff. Our sponsor, our ball manufacturers that are wonderful benefactors for the PBA. I guess they liked my statement.
Well spoken, Warren.
Yeah, Lennie wants to put some pressure on Ryan here, so he really wants to pure this off his hand. And that's a pretty good looking ball right there.
That's exactly what Lennie's doing, Warren. You look at Ryan starting with the front 4, and sometimes it's a tendency to think, well, Ryan's running away with this. But you look at what Lennie's doing. 1 miss for Ryan, and Lennie has the lead.
That's right. That's right.
But these guys obviously know that. Ryan Shafer knows he can't let up with Lennie Boresch bowling the way he is. And now Shafer looking for the front 5 to maintain his lead.
There's a beautiful shot right there. Ryan Shafer, what's a good word to describe Ryan Shafer? He's a Rottweiler. He's an incredibly intense player with a lot of emotions that he lets show. Lennie is the suave, debonair James Bond of Boresch, Lennie Boresch.
He really wanted this one, Warren. Let's get another look at his shot and his reaction.
Well, he had good balance for him. Came down, got around it, clearly finished the shot, and just didn't go. It's a little like saying a prayer. Sometimes the answer is just no. And the nice cover from Shafer. Straight at the spares, as we always say. And now he finds himself 1 pin in arrears to Lennie Boresch. Lennie can take it off the sheet for 280, while Ryan can strike out for 279. And then one of them can say, I couldn't carry.
Yeah.
It's a little left off Lennie's hand, but that's where to make the shot if you're going to make it.
Little disbelief on his face that those went down, but put it in the right spot. You give yourself a chance.
He's been getting the ball over about 10 at the cut, the arrows, and that ball hit about 13, and definitely held some. There's plenty in the heads, and by instinct he probably got a little more speed on it as he came through it. That helped it hold.
Boresch.
I don't think he liked that one.
Nope, and for good reason. The 2-8-10 remains. And another look at it, Warren.
Well, I think you could see that he just didn't clear it the way he wanted to clear it. The thumb release just wasn't where he wanted with his hand position. And that's all it takes on what we bowl on to 2-8-10 from being flush. That shot's probably flush in league.
Takes the 2. It's really the only option at that point, the only logical option. You're not going to try to pick that up. But now he needs help if he wants to advance.
And here Ryan is going to take an extra second.
Extra several seconds. All right.
That's part of the pocket. Put it between the 1-3. He was a little left on it, just directionally. But along that score sheet, it just asks how. How many? It doesn't say how. So Ryan will gladly take the trip 4 and step up on the left lane and try to capitalize on it. Oh, I don't think he liked it.
Wow. He didn't like it. Then it gets perfect. Then it's a stone 8. Let's see that again.
I think there's 2 surprises there, Jeff. I think first he's surprised that it came back. And secondly, he's surprised that he left an 8-pin.
Yeah. The beauty of bowling. You go from thinking you have no chance to being upset that you didn't carry.
Many years ago, Bo Burton says that's what revolutions will do for you. That's what high risk, high reward.
Is that an approach issue, or is that a little gamesmanship, or a little something else?
No, Ryan's been bowling for a year now with a little break in his foot. He's got I guess it's a chip fracture in his foot, and his left foot. Ryan, if you've noticed that little device on his belt that he wears, that's not a pager. That's an insulin pump that Ryan has implanted. Ryan's had diabetes for many, many years, and because of it, he has some diabetic neuropathy.
How about that reaction?
There are no words.
There's a look at the actual shot.
Oh, it's beautiful. He hits 11 with it, gets it down the lane.
Well, sort of a look at the shot.
He just must have felt that he didn't like it off his hand, but...
There's another look. That's...
I think we need to put that on candid camera.
And he gets them all this time.
Beautiful.
Lennie Boresch in the 9th. Now Ryan Shafer coming up 9th and 10th.
Oh, what I was saying about Ryan, that's an insulin pump. He has, as a result of diabetes over so many years, some neuropathy in his foot. So he's got that break going on in his right foot and sometimes a loss of feeling in the left foot. So every now and then he does his Baryshnikov at the line.
And he has a chance to win it here in the 9th and 10th. Maximum of 259 for Ryan Shafer. He will gladly strike in the 9th. Now coming up in the 10th, all Lennie Boresch can do is watch. It was the same scenario in the opening match. Boresch could have been shut out, was not.
And he stepped up into the job.
Shafer knows that, and Shafer knows he does not want to give him another chance.
No, he's going to make sure that he's comfortable. Pre-shot routine.
245 is the max for Lennie Boresch. Shafer must get to 246 or better.
I have a feeling he was getting to the line saying, there's no way I'm leaving an 8-pin on this shot.
No, that's a good one right there.
For all the tilt and rotation that he creates, it doesn't really come around the ball a ton. It's just the way it comes off your hand. But he steps up now, and he needs 8 pins to 8-1 to ensure a win. That ball's left. But it stayed there. That's a result of the transition on the lane, Jeff. That hold down the lane. Up early, it'll wet dry, but down the lane. And that's one of the big differences, the way we like to look at lanes versus the way your league bowler looks at the lanes. We see it front to back. They see it side to side.
Ryan Shafer.
And that was a ball change on a fill ball.
Will move on, and he will face Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the semifinal match. We'll leave the camera on Lennie Boresch as he finishes his 10th frame, and we will be back with the semifinal match momentarily, live from Shallotte, North Carolina. All-time winningest player in PBA history, Walter Ray Williams Jr. is our second seed. This is the semifinal match, PBA50 Storm Invitational from Planet Fun in Shallotte, North Carolina. Jeff Goodger with Warren G. Burr. And as Walter Ray figures out his bowling ball, he will make Ryan Shafer start the match.
Yeah, it looks like Walter's having a problem getting a piece of tape out of his thumb.
Shafer opens with a 9-pin.
Could we call that a bad omen? Ryan's always been prone to, as all players are that have that much tilt, the solid 8, the solid 9. The ball cuts through the pin so hard that it never deflects. And the spare. Interesting that he chose to throw his strike ball, his hooking ball, at the spare. Ryan's always throwing a plastic spare ball or a urethane ball at spares. But there's got to be a reason. And we can talk to him after the tournament and find out what it was. And now Walter steps up, horseshoe shirt.
Immediate strike for Walter Ray Williams Jr.
I think Walter is throwing the same ball that he threw just about all tournament, which was a Turmoil Brunswick ball. It's, I don't know much about it. It's round. It's blue, orange, and white. Gave him a great look this week. He was able to keep the ball in front of him and his angles closed. And then when he made the giant move left, he could twirl it.
And the front two for Walter Ray. Both of these players, Warren, without a title this season. Walter Ray with 3 runner-up finishes. Ryan Shafer with the 1 second-place finish. They both made a ton of shows, but no titles. And although this is not an official title at this event, you know both of them want to take home first place.
Well, sometimes it's just a matter of the right carry at the right time. And that's the first 10-pin of that type we've seen Shafer leave in his Game Plus. The 6-pin went around it. Wasn't quite a ring 10, wasn't quite a half 10. But he's definitely looking at his pin motion, and he's thinking to himself, after he shoots a spare, of course, do I need to move? Do I need to change balls? And I'm more inclined to believe that it's a small move and a small hand change. But it is early. It's only the 3rd frame. And he's, what do we say? You can smell the wood burning because he's got the wheels turning. Ryan seemed to take a little longer in the approach on there. He fidgeted a little, he took a little longer, and might have thrown himself out of rhythm there.
Seen that a couple times, even earlier today during match play, where Shafer will take a little bit extra time. And speaking of things we saw during match play, we saw a lot of 3-6-10s, many of them with 9s as well, and we saw a lot of them missed. So this is a big spare early in this match for Ryan Shafer.
He's electing to shoot it with his strike ball and probably a little bit of curve. Either way works. What a lot of players do when you're not bowling on a house shot, where you have a ton in the middle and some dry outside, is choose to line up like you're shooting a 10-pin and throw your strike ball and your strike release. Undoubtedly, it's going to come in between those pins, but nobody wants to shoot a 3-6-10. Walter with the trademark thumb blow on the thumb. A little moisture. And oops. Or as our friend Parker Bowen would say, uh-oh. Could see that ball come off Walter's hand early. Just lost all direction. And sometimes that just happens. You get out of the ball early, there is no reason for it. But leaving the 1-2, so I'm sure he's going to cover this up perfectly.
That he does. Williams spare in the third. And the
self-deprecating humor. Yeah.
Now trying to reset himself, put all that behind him, start over.
Well, I think we talked about it earlier today. It's this is where you go from being a bowler to a player. The shot's behind you, you live in the moment, and you do what you have to do. And I would not be surprised to see Walter flush this one up to the elbows.
Well, if you want to talk players, he is the epitome of a player. Walter Ray, exactly as you prognosticated, Warren. Let's get another look at this one.
Oh, you can't throw it any better than that. Can't throw it any better than that.
And instantly, within one frame, we move from self-deprecating Walter Ray to I know exactly what I'm doing, Walter Ray. The fist bump, the emphatic, this is mine. And now Shafer, not wanting Walter Ray to have any success because he wants it for himself. And vice versa. Seven pin remains.
Now, if memory serves, his last shot on this lane was a trip 4. And it's basically the same hit right here. So he probably made a decision as to whether or not to move or whether or not to change. The moves are very sensitive on this condition. All week we saw someone make too big a move and instantly 2-4, 8-10. And the more revolutions you have on the ball, the more sensitive you become to that. And that spare keeps Ryan within 13 pins of Walter Ray. And he's, I think that's the wood I smell burning from his thought process. But it's also a way to respond, come back, make a great shot. And I think you like that one.
And the full Shafer curtsy at the foul line.
And there are other things he can do besides curtsy, but we know that extra frame is G-rated. So
well, the reason we know all the other things he can do is because we've seen them all.
Yes,
so
very much.
Your point is taken, but disputed. And Walter Ray, a man who never wastes time on the approach, already up, ready to fight back, and emphatic again. Walter Ray, after missing the pocket, packs 2 in a row.
Firm wrist, right with rotation, but not coming over the ball. When Walter wants to hook the ball, that's what he does. And we know that it's getting intense because Fancy Williams is now becoming vocal.
Well, yes. This is vintage Walter Ray right here, Warren.
Step up and put your foot on the opponent's throat. Now, Ryan Shafer is going to look to hold on to that rope and not let himself fall off. And with that big angle, the light mixer is always the hit of preference. And you see here the tremendous rotation on the ball, but without the thumb going down and without trying to overturn it like sometimes you see your children do, or guy in your league. You can get the rotation without thumbing it or overly turning it. And that's how all-time players answer. Walter throws a double, and Ryan steps right up and throws a double. And you see the hand action. And 11 to the pit. I'm getting goosebumps watching this match.
It's a great stepladder so far. We knew it would be just based on the names, but the first 2 matches go to the 10th frame, and now Shafer-Williams battling back and forth. And Williams with another one. Ever since he missed the pocket in the 3rd frame, Warren, he's been completely unstoppable.
You think maybe he had a little anger? A little...
There's a possibility.
2 seconds of negative self-talk of, you suck. And then right back to, no, you don't. You're the best.
4 in a row right now for
anger can
Williams.
Anger can be a great motivator.
Looking for 5 in a row.
No. Jeff, do you think we can bring up a replay of that shot?
I certainly think we can, Warren.
I think.
Tell us what's going on here.
Well, if we could see that shot from the release point, what I think the viewers would see is that coming off his hand, he just very similar to the shot where he missed the head pin. He just missed it a little bit. It came off his thumb a little early. He directed it. He just didn't have that rotation, and the ball goes through the break point. And the difference is so finite as to what it is that you can't correct for it. You can just do it better next time. And I am so thrilled that he is throwing a spare ball that's older than me. And him, probably. Walter has a huge experience of life on me. I think he's 3 years older.
256, the max score for Walter Ray Williams Jr.
And 255 for Ryan Shafer.
How about that? Another
nail biter.
Insanely close match. Shafer wobbles, does not go.
And I think that he would take that shot if he had to throw the same shot again. I don't think he'd do a thing different. You can only put it there. You can't make him go down. You can anticipate, but you have to trust. And there's the spare. This is where you don't want it to. This is where the negative self-talk or the downward spiraling thoughts come into your head. You have to repress them. You have to get up to the line and be aggressive. And you can't be the minion. You have to be the purple minion. And that's what Ryan's trying to do here.
234 now is max. Has to do what he can to make Walter Ray Williams work.
And that's certainly a lot of 9. Another shot that he might have gotten himself a little forward on.
Could there have been some of that negative self-talk you were talking about, or was this just a physical error?
Well, one causes the other. You try to be too perfect, and you end up being robotic. And all it takes is a little pull on the way back, and it leads to a little pull on the way down. So it certainly wasn't his intention or desire to throw that shot.
So now, for the 3rd consecutive match, we have a player coming up in the 9th and 10th with a chance to lock it up. This time, it is the most winningest player in the history of the game.
Well, Walter just needs to stay clean. And with that, Walter needs 9 pins to lock this match out.
Good look at Walter Ray, hoping that ball does what it should, and certainly did.
Well, the 9 was going to be enough anyway, but
why not?
Well, I think he had a little salt he needed to rub into that wound.
Look at this slow messenger. 7-pin goes. Walter Ray Williams advances. And how about this upcoming title match? Warren G. Burr. We have Walter Ray Williams Jr. versus Norm Duke.
47 national titles versus 38 national titles. About 140,000 regional titles.
I think that might be a little low.
It could be. And we've got the match of the vertically challenged right now.
Well, that is coming up next. Walter Ray Williams Jr. versus Norm Duke for the championship here at the PBA50 Storm Invitational. We'll stick with the final of this 10th frame, and Warren Burr and I will be back for the championship match momentarily. Championship match, PBA50 Storm Invitational, the final event of the PBA50 season. It is not a title, but these guys definitely want it. There's money on the line, there's pride on the line, and this is two of the greatest of all time. Jeff Goodger with Warren G. Burr in the booth. Norm Duke starting off against Walter Ray Williams Jr. for the championship. And what better way to start than with that, Warren?
You know, Jeff, you could dial us back 30 years in a time machine and show these two bowling, and people would think it's still 1988. So it looks like Norm's starting off with a ball that he really didn't use during this weekend. It looks like a pretty shiny roto grip ball called a Hypercell Fused.
Strike for strike. 9-frame game.
Oh, look at that beautiful form. Walter's always been one to enjoy his bowling and make it enjoyable for the fans, too.
Get it? He does not. 10-pin stands.
I think he knew that off his hand. I don't think he didn't lose it, but I think he just missed it a little bit. It's usually just a little off in your timing, and he just missed it slightly, and that's enough to leave that week 10. Randy has a word for it. I forgot what it was, but I can't remember.
Quitter 10 is
Quitter
Randy's
10.
term.
Yes.
no question on the spare for Walter Ray. He's not going to miss a 10-pin. And if he does, I will pass out and accidentally take out all of the FloBowling equipment.
Well, I think he missed one this millennia already, so I think he's done, he's done with his quota.
Yeah, he's good.
And up steps Norm. Norm Duke is 5 foot 4 inches, 130 pounds of rocks in his pockets, of absolute fire.
Duke with 1 title this season, won the PBA50 Security Federal Savings Bank Championship in Anderson, Indiana. And strike 2 for Norm Duke.
And he threw a different ball in the right lane there. He threw his, what I believe is an intense right there, where he threw that purplish ball, the fused on the left lane. Maybe he sees a difference in there that someone else didn't see. Fire is burning in those eyes. And for those watching who aren't familiar with the equipment, the difference between the two balls leads me to believe that lane 29 is just a hair tighter, so you need more ball to make more back-end hook.
Look at his eyes here, Warren, as he lets this one go.
That's either his I just pured it look or his get me more coffee look.
You mentioned his intensity, and there are not many more intense than Norm Duke, but Walter Ray is in that conversation.
And another beautiful shot. This is like we're watching a loop of shots. Did you loop his shots from last game and continue showing?
Yes, makes it much easier. Williams with 5 top 5 finishes this season. Duke with 6 top 5 finishes this season. That is why they are here, this elite field event, and Williams packs another one.
That was a great shot. He knew this was a strike off his hand. When Walter's on balance and has that balance foot out to the right for his extension, to the left for its extension to the right, that's as solid as anybody that's got Dave Davis footwork on the foul line.
Focus of Norm Duke for the front 4. Gets the 7 to go late. Front 4 for Norm Duke.
And very much like what we talked about with Michael Haugen and Lennie Boresch, that was a little left, but when you have error room in a certain direction, use it. Use it. The oil down the lane's really built up, and you can get that ball to start up early and then set up in front of the headpin, in front of the pocket. You are going to take that 5 out.
Duke looking for 5.
And another example, as Bo Burton used to say, of pins not respecting the ball. You see the ball go to the left of the 9-pin as I step on Jeff's commentary.
Wow. Norm Duke just missed a 9-pin, Warren.
I am flabbergasted is probably a good word. Norm's one of the best spare shooters I've ever seen. He takes the lane out of play shooting spares. And I know he is kicking himself right now.
That was about as surprising as something could have been in this match. Williams doing exactly what you expect him to do.
Beautiful.
Pouncing on it.
Oh, you give the man an opening. That's a raw steak to a lion right there. Walter just steps up, cools a cucumber, says, aha. A little hold there for Walter. You could see his extension to the right. Little stop on the ball, and it stayed. And Norm came back with a great shot off of that. He threw the shot he wanted. And he rings a 10, and now that self-talk comes in again.
Thought he had it, realized he didn't.
Picture says it all. Picture says it all right there. More than likely, Norm's not thrilled with his feel. Maybe he feels there's a little bit off there. Sometimes, as players, what we like to do is when we're trying to do something to a ball, make the thumb tighter than we need to have it. Get the ball off the hand. You make the thumb tighter, you're actually going to relax more and probably get out of it a little quicker. And maybe he feels like he needs to accelerate a little more and make the ball go through the pins better.
7th frame. Norm Duke trailing Walter Ray Williams Jr. Is that any good, Warren?
It's an 11 on a 1 to 10.
Another look.
These two men are putting on a shot-making clinic, even including the 9-pin that, for some reason, picked up. This is a clinic in how to step up under pressure and throw your shot. And Walter looks very intense, very set on taking command here. Much like the 10-pin that Norm left, there may have been a hair left and into the oil. Walter's shot never quite got right. He's been getting the ball out to about 9. Ball got to maybe 11.
He almost fell out of the building here with this reaction.
If they ever make a soap opera about bowling as the ball returns, you know, then I think Walter would make such an excellent lead actor. He has the histrionics and the actions and the body language.
As the ball returns, executive producer Warren G. Burr.
I'm not really sure where that one came from, but I'll have to talk to my therapist the next time I have a session.
8th frame now for Williams, and
that's
big frame.
That shot's a horse of another color right there. And we are looking at a 2-pin match potentially. And even in the midst of a high-tension match, there's an excellent lesson in that shot for our viewers, for the bowlers. Those fingers are not just power, they're direction. So when you think you throw a bad shot, and you think you missed it, or you think you got it right, sometimes it's just not coming out of it clean.
Walter Ray's max 259. Norm Duke's max was 257, but now another 10-pin.
Hit about 14, got it out to about 10, and I can't tell you why that didn't go down. Maybe the 6-pin had a doctor's appointment, I don't know, but it did not want to take that 10-pin out.
Spare for Duke.
And I can assure our viewers that Norm is just as perplexed and aggravated as he looks.
237 now, the maximum score for Norm Duke. Desperately wants a strike here in the foundation frame. Walter Ray Williams Jr. coming up in the 9th and 10th with a chance to win it no matter what Norm Duke does.
Well, all he can do is step up and make the kind of shots you would expect from a Hall of Famer. It's what I would expect to happen, and can only wonder what's going through. He actually he's so focused, he picked up the wrong ball. He picked up the intense he's using on the right lane, and he's bowling in the left lane. Perfect. A perfect roll off the hand. Got it into the lane early, got the fingers on it, and made those pins look like they weighed about an ounce each.
Walter Ray Williams Jr., 9th frame. Duke can only max 237. Williams still with 259 possible.
Come on, baby! Yeah!
And that shot, you'll see, will get just a little further right than the one that he left the 10 pin on. And that angle's enough to bring the ball solidly high flush. And of course, this is the match right here. Walter's gone through his pre-shot routine. He's ready to throw the ball. And he's going to make the best delivery that he can here for the cheese. I think we used to call that the high hard one. When you need the hit, put it there. Let the pins do the work for you.
Come on!
Walter Ray Williams Jr., winner of the first ever PBA50 Storm Invitational here at Planet Fun in Shallotte, North Carolina. Qualifies second, defeats the top seed Norm Duke, and Walter Ray Williams Jr. with yet another trophy to take home.
And a beautiful job of throwing strikes under pressure, puring shots off your hand.
Finish it!
Can't do it any better than that. And to go out to Norm Duke. Norm Duke threw 9 great shots. He just didn't strike in the wrong frame.
Norm Duke will obviously finish his match, and then we will go down to the lanes. John Weber with Walter Ray Williams Jr. presenting him his check and trophy.
And of course, now that it's over, the 6-pin takes out the 10 instead of saying no. But Norm put on a great exhibition this week. Everyone did put on a great show this weekend. And this is, yes, there's money, but this is a little bit for the spectators. It's a little bit for the viewers, and chance one more time to get together with the guys you spend most of the year with. And you see, Norm will finish it out like a professional. He won't just whip it down the middle.
Nope, he's going to post the score he can post. Looking for that 237. Duke, another strike. One more strike for 237 for Norm Duke.
You can see the disappointment etched on his face there. He's certainly wanted to win and threw the ball well enough to win. So did Walter.
And Norm Duke will get a great round of applause from this crowd as he finishes.
And well-deserved round of applause.
And I'd like to bring our host out, Brian McCall, so that Walter Ray can bank some more money and get some more hardware. Congratulations again, Walter Ray.
All right, Just wanted to say thank you for everybody coming out and participating and enjoying an event like this in Shallotte, North Carolina. I don't think we've ever had the opportunity to have all the legends and 10 Hall of Famers in our facility. So the people that came sure got your money's worth, and we look forward to hopefully a future of this event again. But Walter, great job this weekend bowling. Congratulations, and here's a nice check on our behalf of the PBA Storm Invitational here in Shallotte, North Carolina. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thanks for having me. All right. Don't show the label?
No.
Okay.